Come on back here. In here, we have a lot of things that go all the way back to high school, college, as well as throughout my NFL career. This back here, one of my high school helmets. Let's see here. Gator jersey, Aloha Bowl, 87. Yes, I did keep some of my Arizona Cardinal stuff, so all my Cardinal fans and people who don't like the Cardinals forget you. At the end of the day, I had to play the game of football. In these boxes over here, I have my touchdown footballs. The day that I broke the record, October 27th, this game here against the Seattle Seahawks, right here, this uniform, helmet, jersey, pants, shoes, is in this box. Memories, memories, memories. They don't ever fade away.
You gonna be a football player when you grow up?
Today is the best day of your life. Believe
Give me 18 years of daylight. That's all.
Greatest leader I've ever known.
What a ride it's been. There's only one NFL rushing champion, and there's only one Emmitt Smith.
So the first question we're asking everybody is, who's the greatest running back of all time?
In your opinion, who's the greatest running back?
Who's the greatest running back?
The greatest running back.
Who do you rank as the greatest running back?
Who's the greatest running back of all time?
There's been a lot of great running backs that have played that I think can certainly be in that discussion.
Thinking back from my childhood days, I think about Walter. I think about Jim Brown.
That is a very difficult question. I'm not qualified to answer it, but also my intelligence tells me that there was so much greatness, it would be very difficult to single out one person.
I think it's like artists. Who painted the best art? Well, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder.
Who's the greatest running back of all time?
Emmitt Smith. They'll say that he had a passing game. They'll say he had a great offensive line. They'll come up with a lot of different reasons as to why it was just not him.
Then the bottom line is, for me, there's only one of them who's the all-time leading rusher.
This is real. It's not something that I just dreamt about. I wrote it down, and then I was able to achieve it through years of hard work and dedication and sacrifice from myself and many others. I don't take none of this for granted.
Number 22 in white, Emmitt Smith, the Cowboys' first-round draft pick, in the line for the first time, and Smith touches the ball.
Bang! Emmitt Smith, thank you very much yet again.
Emmitt could go 60 yards. Emmitt was a tough inside runner.
And he's over 1,000 yards for the season.
It was amazing how many tackles he would break. Those little arm tackles. If you didn't get a clean shot on him, you weren't going to bring him down.
Goes over 5,000 yards.
It was something beautiful to watch.
He's the 12th player to rush for over 10,000 yards.
There's nothing negative I could ever say about his performances and his attitude. Emmitt wouldn't have to stand behind anybody.
He now moves into the 10th spot all time. He is now in 5th place all time. Moves into 3rd place on the NFL rushing list.
On paper, he just looked like, another guy.
Smith stops, reverses field right. Now cuts north-south.
But when you put the ball in his hand, he was magic.
And Emmitt Smith has now passed Barry Sanders into 2nd place.
Emmitt Smith has eclipsed Walter Payton as the NFL's all-time rushing leader. Long live the King!
Emmitt Smith goes above 18,000 yards.
Emmitt Smith is the NFL's all-time leading rusher. He holds the record for most career rushing touchdowns in the regular season, the playoffs, and the Super Bowl. He also holds the record for most playoff rushing yards.
Emmitt Smith has done it again!
He set school records in college and in Pensacola, Florida, where his football life began.
A lot of memories. It's kind of cool when you come back. That second row housing right there. I used to live right there. 138 Addis Court. Used to play football right here. My very first touchdown was scored on the naval base, on the same football field Roger Staubach played on.
Every time he got the ball, man, it was like a touchdown. He was definitely special.
Here's the Salvation Army. Used to run up and down that field right there, scoring touchdowns left and right. Used to be a little flower. Played right there, scored a number of touchdowns right there one day. One thing about this sport is it's not a sport for cowards. It's a sport for type A personalities, the ones that really want to persevere and continue to strive for greatness. And that's what I love about our sport. Even when you're down, you're still fighting.
When Emmitt arrived at Escambia High in 1983, the program had won only 3 games over the previous 3 seasons. They had also just hired a new head coach.
They had scored 1 touchdown the year before, and they hadn't had a winning team in the history of the school then.
Dwight had this way of motivating all of us.
I had the players write down their goals on a 3x5 card and put it in their lockers, because it's a dream until you write it down, and then it becomes a goal.
So place your goal sheet right next to your mirror so you understand why you're coming to this locker every day and what you're doing it for. And he's right.
Smith started as a freshman and quickly surpassed all his goals.
God gave him a lot of ability, and inside that ability is that inner being of not getting beat. The young man had drive.
That's one thing you don't notice about Emmitt Smith. He picked up 3, 4, 5 yards after he hit.
With Emmitt leading the way, Escambia won 2 straight state titles and achieved a #1 national ranking. As a senior, he was named the Gatorade National Player of the Year.
The first time I heard of Emmitt Smith, I don't know what publication it was that had all the high school All-Americans, but it's something I used to pay attention to. And so there was a kid that I went to school with at Oklahoma State who would come from Pensacola. So I would always ask him, like, who is this Emmitt Smith guy? And he was saying that how Emmitt's team dominated.
Emmitt Smith again. 45 breaks outside. He may go all the way.
Emmitt Smith showed a little Walter Payton there.
They have the outstanding tailback Emmitt Smith, the all-time leading rusher in Florida high school history, and already considered the #1 running back prospect in the United States of America.
I think my teammates and myself, we were part of something very, very special in this city. You got to do things pretty special to have your name on buildings. This is my Gatorade Player of the Year plaque. And by being named this, I got 2 tickets to go to the Super Bowl in Pasadena, California in 1987. I went to the Super Bowl with Johnny and Nick and I, my best friend from high school. We would sit up in the stands, and I turned to Johnny, I said, man, one of these days I want to play in the Super Bowl and I want to play in this stadium. And 6 years later, my dream actually came true. I was recruited by every college you can possibly imagine. But Florida, I've always been a Gator fan for some reason.
In 1987, the University of Florida was recovering from 3 years of severe NCAA penalties. The addition of Emmitt Smith attracted other recruits to the school.
You recruited Emmitt's class by, hey, we're getting Emmitt. Emmitt brought those players there.
Despite not starting until week 3, it took Emmitt 7 games to crack the 1,000-yard barrier, the quickest in Division I history.
And welcome to the Emmitt Smith era of Florida football.
Smith appeared in 3 straight bowl games, then left Florida as a junior and as the school's all-time leading rusher.
We had some talent, and I think that recruiting class itself is the foundation in which the 90s teams was built off of.
After establishing the program at Escambia High and resurrecting the program in Gainesville, Emmitt headed to a different city to help revive another team.
Man, Dallas has changed so much in the 26 years I've been here. Yes, I do consider myself a Texan. I've basically became a man in this city. I fell in love with downtown when I was driving in from Florida my rookie year moving out here. Never ever really growing up, living in a big city, and finally in one. This place is awesome. I love it here.
Before Emmitt's arrival, Dallas had 3 future Pro Bowlers on the offensive line, along with future Hall of Famers Michael Irvin and Troy Aikman. But they won just 1 game in 1989.
Well, in 1990, we got into the draft, and we were mainly looking at a defensive player.
Well, they tried to draft James Francis. That's the guy they had targeted. Linebacker from Baylor. Cincinnati took him and broke their hearts.
So we were sitting there at 21. I said, well, I'm going to probably have to take a running back. If that's the case, then I'm going to move up and get the best running back, Emmitt Smith. So I moved up 4 spots, and, of course, the rest is history.
I don't think Emmitt really regrets much, but I think if he could go back and change the outfit that he wore at his opening press conference, I think he would do that.
People could talk about all they want. Polka dots was in. Polka dots was in at that time.
And then saying, when I end my career, I want to be the NFL's all-time leading rusher. So right away you knew, this guy's serious. That's a big goal to put out there. And to say it in that outfit is even more impressive.
He just got drafted. We're about to play dominoes. And I grab a piece of paper. And he was kind of embarrassed. You know, he's like, oh, no, don't use that paper. And I looked down, and the piece of paper had 3 things written on it: lead rusher, team MVP, and Pro Bowl. This is a young man that had not even stepped on a field, hadn't even stepped into a practice yet.
Emmitt's rookie season started out of style too. The offense wasn't tailored to fit him. In the first 10 weeks, he didn't carry the ball much, and Dallas won just 3 games.
And so I went off. Give me the ball more. I can't do nothing with 11 carries. You didn't draft me to have the ball in my hand 11 times. You brought me here to run the football, so allow me to run the football. Jimmy said, okay, you got to get him the ball. And he got me the football.
Now it's Emmitt Smith time.
His workload almost doubled in the final 6 games. Dallas won 4 of them, while Emmitt earned Pro Bowl and Rookie of the Year honors.
Never beat Green. There's the 20, the 15, the 10, the 5. Touchdown, Emmitt Smith. He made Darryl Green miss.
Did you ever doubt you were going to make it as a great running back in the pros?
I'm not great, so I haven't made it yet.
All right. What do you have to do to be great?
I got to do a lot more than what I'm doing. For one, I got to help lead the Cowboys to a Super Bowl. Not only that, we got to win it. Another, I got to rack up a bunch of stats.
What are good stats?
Stats are at the top, where where Walter Payton and Dorsett and those guys are. I got to be up there with those guys before I consider be great.
The one thing Jimmy said, I never forget it. He came up to me and said, we're gonna bring a guy in here that know how to get you the football.
Then how long came Norv Turner? Then we started rolling. We were just an average offensive line. The 2 things propelled us. Is the offensive coordinator, Norv Turner, and understanding who we were, and him understanding what type of runner Emmitt was. We ran like 5 or 6 plays. Emmitt mastered them, we mastered them versus any defense, and that's what we did. And lead draw became our play, with Darryl Johnston leading up on the linebacker.
That pop that you heard was Darryl Johnston again, working on the linebacker.
Lead draw, bing, went right back to high school. Power O, bing, went right back to high school. Everything was just like perfect.
Emmitt became the centerpiece of the offense in 1991. He led the NFL in rushing, and the Cowboys won their first playoff game in almost a decade.
And I never forget that offseason, I'm on my way back to Florida, and I called Michael. I said, hey, Mike, we had a great year this year, man. Let's get ready to go take this thing all the way next year.
In 1992, Emmitt led the NFL in rushing for the 2nd straight year. He powered Dallas to the Super Bowl, fulfilling the goal he set in the stands of the Rose Bowl as a high schooler.
That's big, right? Go for the right out here. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of damn people, huh? Hey, they come to see you, though.
It was a surreal moment. My dream actually came true in Pasadena, California, in the Rose Bowl, and Johnny Nick and his parents, my family, all sitting up in the stands watching me play in my very first Super Bowl, which was an awesome experience.
Emmitt Smith coming left, cuts to the 5, turning at the 1, touchdown Emmitt Smith!
The year before Emmitt arrived, the Cowboys had one win. 3 years later, they were Super Bowl champions.
What a ride it's been, from the absolute worst to the absolute best.
Emmitt coming in was the final piece to the puzzle.
Hey, first NFL rushing title to win the Super Bowl. It's the first time for everything. I told him, not only did he go, the first one to win. No better man deserves it. No better man. And catch 22. And you still ain't caught him yet.
The Super Bowl celebration was short-lived. Emmitt was on his couch when the next season began.
I was so mad at the fact that I was sitting at home and not joining my teammates. I have collected all of my touchdown footballs from the start of 1990 all the way to 2004, my last year with the Arizona Cardinals. Let's see what this one is. Cowboys versus the Raiders, 1992. The linebacker dives over Darryl Johnson's head and his arm catches me in the face mask, smashed in the face.
Emmitt Smith breaking a beheading tackle.
But I maintained my balance and got to the end zone by stretching it out like this. Touchdown. That's that ball. Then let's see what we have here.
Handoff, Smith coming right.
It's a 12-21-92 ball. Cowboys versus the Falcons. We won that one 41-17. NFC East divisional champion. Yes, that ball.
Emmitt Smith does the impossible.
All of that is in this box, so good stuff.
You know, the Cowboys were coming off of this celebratory, unexpected Super Bowl season, and they begin the next season with this ominous thing hanging over their heads that Emmitt was not signed.
Emmitt Smith fulfilled the contract he signed as a rookie, so he needed a new one. But fierce negotiations with owner Jerry Jones kept Emmitt out of training camp.
I know Jerry was really convinced that for short term that they could have success without Emmitt.
I was asked, can we win without Emmitt Smith? We were getting ready to go into our opener. I said, you're asking me if we can win. That's a different question than if you're asking me, will we win? I mean, I don't know if we will win, but can we? Of course we can win. What are we going to say? We're not going to try to, we can't do this? I mean, why even show up? And then the next day I pick up the paper and it says, Aikman says Cowboys can win without Emmitt Smith. You know, I thought, that's not really the way it was said.
The Cowboys, in fact, could not win without Emmitt Smith. With a rookie starting at running back, Dallas lost the first 2 games in 1993.
I think at that point it became apparent to Jerry that he had taken this thing as far as he could, and before midnight he got the deal done to bring Emmitt back.
I'm sorry, got in the season a little bit late, but I think we can put this thing together and go on and win it all.
It's like having a double-barrel shotgun and putting the bullets in, but it still broke over. But once you click it, all you gotta do is pull the trigger. That's what Mr. Jones did. He clicked it, and all he did was pull the trigger when Emmitt got there. Bam!
No team in NFL history has ever started 0-2 and go on to win the Super Bowl.
62-yard touchdown, Emmitt Smith.
We went on a run, a nice run.
Hey! Go for number 2, baby!
The best chance at a second straight Super Bowl came down to the last game of the season, on the frozen turf of the Meadowlands.
Emmitt, hearts up tonight, Emmitt! You're gonna get hammered all day, Emmitt!
We're playing against the Giants to win not only the division, but we also get a bye in the playoffs.
Second quarter, get a trap play on the inside right, bust up on the outside, and running down the field for a large gain and get tackled. And I felt my shoulder just pop up. Instant pain.
Smith is down. Emmitt Smith is down at the Giants' 30.
It was pretty painful. And so come off the field and We have this conversation about my shoulder and how important this game is. They walked me into the locker room right before the half. I'm classified with a grade 2 separation and left the decision in my hand.
Bad news for the Cowboy fans. I don't see Emmitt Smith out on the field.
Knowing that I missed the first 2 games, and this game was such an important game for us in terms of securing home field advantage, I knew what I had to do.
Here comes Emmitt Smith. Out again.
Emmitt fought the pain and shouldered the Super Bowl run with one good arm.
Not only is he in there, but he's the go-to guy. Emmitt's hurting, you can tell that, but he's still very effective.
Never have I had that type of pain.
We tried to get him out of the huddle several times. It was kind of striking a balance of, okay, we know what the stakes are in this game and how important it is to have you in the lineup, but if we win, how important it is for you to be there in 2 weeks, as we make a push. Because we've already seen that in the beginning of the season when you weren't in the lineup after starting 0-2.
In overtime, Emmitt touched the ball on 9 of the Cowboys' 11 plays. He secured a 3rd straight rushing title and the playoff bye.
41 yards, good snap, the hold is up, the kick's on the way. Cowboys win! What a great game.
We don't win that game against the Giants without Emmitt's performance.
They'll never forget the day Emmitt Smith ran 32 times for 170 yards and caught 10 balls for 62 and did most of it with one arm.
That's a signature game of his career. I think it kind of, in a lot of ways, really kind of summarizes what he is as a person and what he is as a player and why he went on to have the success that he had in the NFL.
His performance helped him earn NFL MVP and spurred the Cowboys to a 2nd straight Super Bowl.
Hey, this is it, baby. Last one again, baby. Last one. Last one.
We did not play well in the first half of that game.
They've had a lot of trouble controlling the Buffalo Bills, and they find themselves trailing 13-6 at the half.
The Bills had really kind of shut down our running game in the first half. And as we're walking into the locker room, Jimmy's right at the door, letting everybody know, hey, listen, we know what they're doing.
And I said, we're going to pound the ball. And I said, offensive line, you get ready. We're going to give it to Emmitt. We're going to take it down the field.
Aikman, handoff, Smith coming right behind Johnston.
Our first series, we ran the ball 7 out of 8 plays. Power, slant. Power, slant. Power, slant. And man, it was on and popping.
Does anybody else get to touch this thing for a while? Smith for 9, Smith for 3, Smith for 8, Smith for 7.
To understand, he is still hurt. He's still recovering from that shoulder injury. It's just a work of art.
They just keep feeding the ball into the stomach of Emmitt Smith.
I'm gonna run it until they stop it. On the 7th carry, boom.
Aikman draw to Smith. Tackled but breaks away to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown, Emmitt Smith. Oh, what a run by the league's MVP.
Great drive by Emmitt Smith.
You have a favorite run of his from his Cowboys years?
I got 7. That drive.
All momentum have shifted then, and it was over.
Emmitt scored again to seal a 2nd straight world title. With 2 touchdowns and 132 rushing yards, he was named Super Bowl MVP.
That was our finest hour during my tenure with the Dallas Cowboys.
2 in a row. How sweet it is.
That really doesn't happen without Emmitt Smith's will to be there.
Yes. I appreciate it, Coach. Help me out of this stuff. Come on over here.
Despite missing 2 games, Emmitt achieved nearly all his goals for 1993, but a bigger goal still awaited.
Let's go out here, kick these Pittsburgh Steelers' ass up and down the field, and go home and enjoy it for a full year. Hey!
In 1995, Emmitt Smith led the Cowboys to a third Super Bowl win in 4 years, while earning his fourth rushing title.
And Dallas, your Cowboys are world champions again.
I went to Emmitt, I think it maybe his 5th, 6th year. I saw him sitting in his locker. I said, homeboy, you passed the short term. What are you trying to accomplish here? He took out a piece of paper. If I do this many yards and I do this, I don't get hurt. And by a certain year, he had himself passing Walter Payton.
The Cowboys' dynasty dwindled, but Emmitt continued inching closer to Walter Payton, the NFL's all-time leading rusher.
Running backs don't outlast quarterbacks. They don't outlast wide receivers. And you got to remember, there's no Troy, there's no Michael Irvin, but Emmitt was still there, chalking up yards, trying to win ball games.
Entering 2002, he was 540 yards shy of being crowned the rushing king.
I knew that was one of his dreams and his goals that he had written down, but it wasn't until way down the road that I realized, okay, we are getting really close. And I remember working with the Cowboys and our family trying to figure out, okay, do we go to this game? Do we go to the next game? How about if all these people come in town and he doesn't break it? So one day I remember we were talking and he said, go ahead and invite everybody.
Let's go. Look how young I look. Game day, look good, feel good, play good.
Emmitt took the field, needing 93 yards to achieve the loftiest goal he ever set.
I asked my bosses to switch our schedule and go do the game in Dallas. I think that this is the day he's going to break the record.
Let's go, baby! Play hard today. Play hard today. Have fun the damn day. Let's win on 3, baby. Let's win on 3. 1, 2, 3, win!
I formation, standard set. And the first play is a handoff to Emmitt Smith, and he's going to get a couple.
Baby. Not today. No.
Not today.
Boy, had another tell me I can't let you today.
Who said that?
Number 90 said I can't let you today.
Yeah, you believe that? You a fool.
Wait, pass that.
Handoff, Smith coming at right tackle. A big cheer as he gets to the 30. Gain of 11. Smith coming right, a block from Thomas. Cuts to the 50, breaks a tackle. Right to the 45, breaks a tackle. 14 more for Emmitt Smith.
I'm going to say congratulations before all the hoopla starts. It's a long way from Pensacola to here.
We're a long way from 13 yards, too.
I know.
At the rate we go.
A long way from that high school to here.
That's true. It is. It is.
He needs 10 yards. High formation, 2 receivers right. 2nd and 7 at the Dallas 30. Handoff, Smith at left guard, 35, 40-yard line, right on the mark. That should do it. The torch is passed. Long live the king.
I could have kept my feet. Could have been a long run.
Emmitt Smith has eclipsed Walter Payton as the NFL's all-time rushing leader.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you, man.
I love you, man.
Thank you.
Deserve it, buddy.
And I'm just watching the whole thing, and we're about 20 yards away, and there's a ton of people there. And all of a sudden it stops and it parts. And we make eye contact, and I can see him tear, and then I start to tear.
We got it, buddy. Yeah, I knew it. I knew it all week long.
Glad I could be here. So happy I could be here.
I wouldn't miss this for anything.
That one may be my favorite.
Thank you so much, man.
I enjoyed everything I did for you. And I so wanted to be in front of him that day. It's the one regret I have with my neck. But it was the next best thing. I enjoyed everything I did for you. You made it fun.
Oh, man.
Oh, thank you. You made it fun, buddy.
Oh, thank you.
That was for the both of us. I mean, two kids from two different parts of the country. Set aside to do something special together. Darryl Johnson and myself will be forever linked. And I would never allow that to dissipate as long as I got breath.
For you fans, this is about heart. This is about character. There's only one NFL rushing champion, and there's only one Emmitt Smith.
That moment wasn't just for Emmitt Smith. That moment was for the village of people that have poured into me and helped shape me into the person that I have become, the football player that I once was, and hopefully the father that I am. Period.
Well, we're heading to the divisional playoff game between the Cowboys and the Packers. I do pull for the Cowboys, and I'm about as nervous watching them play as I am watching my own kids. I'm nervous. I'm nervous.
Hey, sir, got your parking pass, Mr. Smith? Does he need a parking pass? I think everybody know him.
I've always said when you talk about the Cowboy greats, there's no one greater than Roger Staubach. But if there were to ever be anyone that would rival Roger, it would be Emmitt Smith.
Please welcome tonight's Ring of Honor member, Emmitt Smith.
He's not only a Ring of Honor Hall of Fame player, he's a champion. He's royalty. He's team royalty.
During the break, Emmitt Smith had this crowd whipped up into a frenzy.
Could you finish your career with another team?
I would look so different and probably so stank in any other uniform. I wasn't thinking about retiring. I had just come off of breaking the record and having over 1,200 yards. Then Jerry and I had some meetings that my career with the Dallas Cowboys was probably going to be no longer. Would I have loved to have stayed here? Yes, without a doubt. Would I have taken a pay cut to stay here? Yes, without a doubt.
When we decided to move on, my wish was that he would retire. And I just couldn't picture him with another jersey on.
And then all of a sudden it's like, you know what, I think we're going to Arizona. I'm like, okay.
For an organization that has lacked credibility, today the Arizona Cardinals stepped up and they hit a home run. They bring in the NFL's all-time rushing leader.
We were not a good organization in those days, and we had too many excuse makers around, and we needed more professionals, people that understood what it took. The fact that he would come and play for us, I thought that was terrific.
Honestly, I was like, is this a publicity stunt? But he was such a model of professionalism. He brought the same energy every single day, and I didn't understand how he could do that at such an older age.
As hard as it was to leave Dallas, it proved even harder to come back as a Cardinal in Week 5.
Became a man in Dallas, got married in Dallas, had a couple kids in Dallas. This is a unique situation. The weird thing about it, coming to the stadium on a bus versus in my car, but most importantly, walking into the visitors' locker room versus the home locker room. My heart was broken into 1,000 pieces. At that moment, I realized how much my love for this sport and my love for the Dallas Cowboys were intertwined with each other. I cried like a baby. Crying for 45 minutes before kickoff has never, ever happened.
As Emmitt, no surprise, gets the first carry, and no surprise, the Cowboys are all over it.
It was just a disaster.
Screen left to Smith. He falls down.
I didn't play well. I got hurt. I think it all began as soon as I stepped foot off that bus.
Emmitt Smith carried the ball 6 times, -1 yard rushing, and had to leave in the second quarter with a sprained left shoulder.
He was unproductive and ultimately injured and didn't finish. That's the exact opposite of what he built his career on as a Dallas Cowboy.
My little daughter, she wrote me a note. She said, "Daddy, no matter what happens, if you win, you did your best, and if you lose, you did your best too." And that is what it's all about.
For the first time, I had a chance to really think about what I was doing. I come home, I look at my family. What are you doing? The only thing left for you to do is to honor out your agreement. Finish what you started. Give the Cardinals your best, and then go home.
Emmitt returned to the Cardinals in 2004, and just as he had throughout his football life, made an impact on and off the field.
I was so excited. You know, anything that I could do to try to put me on the same path as the greatest running back of all time, I was trying to do it. You know, I remember I would always wear a suit to the game, you know, on the plane, and then wear the suit again the next day. He said, "Fitz, a real professional never wears the same suit 2 days in a row." He said, "You wear one suit to the game, put a different suit on, and you come home, and that's what a true professional does." And I still, to this day, I won't wear the same suit 2 days in a row.
I was sent to Arizona to be a bridge and to help others along the way, share my life experiences with them, and them asking me questions and being able to download this information of life to people who really wanted it. That was an amazing experience.
In his 15th NFL season, Emmitt rushed for 937 yards, the exact same number he ran for in his rookie year. Even though he led the team in rushing yards and touchdowns, his biggest impact was on his young teammates.
We needed a direction to go in, and Emmitt showed a lot of guys the professionalism that you had to have, and also the preparation and commitment to the game. It changed everything for us.
He was a positive role model for a lot of people and was a great leader for that young football team, which later on would become a Super Bowl team.
I knew some of the players that were there, and I was so excited for them, especially guys that were around me that asked those questions. And that part I feel very good about.
His influence on our organization lasted for years and years after he was done playing with us.
What's the funniest thing you've ever seen?
Dancing with the Stars. I was used to him having this camaraderie with Daryl Johnson, cry about Daryl all day long. But another woman? Like, no.
How you feeling?
Good.
Look at this, 8,804 yards.
That's the first one right there.
That's our first state championship?
That's the second one.
Because I had pictures of Eric Dickerson and Marcus Allen and Walter Payton, and Mira would be back here on one side, Gold Sheep be on the other side.
You go right here, Emmitt. Did you see this?
Yeah. Our mission is to use the game of football to teach young men how to become successful at home, in the classroom, in the community, and in life after football. It's all about doing things that go beyond the game, empowering others to become successful. Life after the game begins right there in that statement.
Have been so.
Emmitt Smith retired as a Cowboy after the 2004 season.
From the bottom of my heart, you don't know how much this star really mean to me.
That's my brother. That silver and blue with that star on his head. They're always gonna be a Cowboy, you know.
In the first 10 minutes of his speech, he thanked 172 people.
And Daryl Johnston. I thought I could make it.
2 years later, he joined Dancing with the Stars and gained another coach and teammate.
I had no idea who Emmitt Smith was. I Googled him and I was like, great, what am I gonna do with this huge football player?
When I heard his name chosen, I told one of my friends, I said, he gonna win. Because he will work day and night to learn how to tango, to learn how to cha-cha, because he couldn't dance a lick before the Dancing of the Stars, and he knows it.
Like everything else he does, he got better and got better. And it was his personality, as much as anything, the smile.
Emmitt won the audience over, and at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
The winners and new champions of Dancing with the Stars, Emmitt and Cheryl!
And to be able to pull it off, yes, I'm very proud of that.
Emmitt's Dancing with the Stars trophy sits in his office, a place where he attacks a new set of goals through his real estate company and his charity.
You know, when Emmitt came into the league, he had clear vision on who he was and what he wanted to accomplish. And I think he's carried that into his post-career. He knows exactly what he wants to be doing now. He's got a good business going in real estate, doing a heck of a job with his wife, Pat, foundation, and doing a lot of good work in the community. None of Emmitt's successes has surprised him. He's been very driven and determined ever since I met him. You know, when he was wearing that polka-dotted outfit with the flat-top haircut, and it hasn't changed. He's very motivated, and I'm real proud of him.
Football has been a major part of my life, and now I'm establishing a new part of my life.
This your crew?
Yeah.
They good, man.
And this next phase of my life is family, is business, is community. I want to maximize my potential to the fullest and transform the communities that we serve. Coach Thomas taught me something a long time ago. It's only a dream until you write it down. How many of you wrote them down? Be honest. Put your goals by that mirror. Put your goals right there where you see them every day as a reminder of why you put your foot on the ground.
Literally, if you go in our bathroom right now, he's got goals written down on his mirror. His drive is still strong.
It's a dream until you write it down. So when you write it down, it's a goal.
Yeah, that's what he tells us.
He set the bar so high that it's our job to carry on that legacy and make our family name proud and better and better each year. That's what goals are for.
Who is the greatest running back of all time? It's a debate that will go on forever. What is unquestionable is Emmitt Smith's impact on the game. Statistically, he is in a category all by himself.
In your opinion, who's the greatest running back of all time?
I don't even care. But I would love to say that everywhere I've gone, I've left some imprints. And I've left that position better than it was before I got there.